When I owned a yoga studio between the years 2008 and 2018, I had a tagline for my email signature, and it said, "You are the co-creator of your life. Live your life on purpose." Today, I'd like to talk to you about what that means, living your life on purpose, and all the words that are associated with that word. Intentionality, present moment awareness, living a purposeful life. Do you want that for yourself for 2026? I know I do, and more mindfulness that goes into that can help you have a fabulous year. Hi, my name is Michelle Fondin. I'm the author of 12 published books, including The 8 Limbs of Yoga for Modern Times, a practical guide to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, exploring your 7 energy centers with mindfulness, yoga, and Ayurveda. You can find all 12 of my published books on Amazon and 10 of them on Ingram Spark. If you are new to this channel, I'd like to welcome you here. Thank you so much for subscribing below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I teach meditation, and it's a mantra-based meditation technique. If you click on the link that is below in the description box, and I will likely link it to the first comment below, you can get a promo code for $75 off my course on demand. As some of you know, I am writing a brand new book to be published May 20th of 2026. This year, yay, it's finally here. And it is called Love Me Unconditionally, a spiritual guide to self-love. And in writing about self-love and practicing more self-love to write more about self-love, this concept of living a purpose-driven life or living your life on purpose is really front and center, because there is no better way to love yourself than by living your life purposefully. We all hear these words, right? We all hear these words: live a purpose-driven life, be mindful, live a life of mindfulness, live with intention. And I feel like a lot of people throw around those words willy-nilly. They keep throwing them around. Like, my intention is, or I am being mindful about, but most people don't quite understand how to live their lives with purpose. And so I'd like to riff a little bit with you guys here as we really focus on, this is your life. This is the one you've got right now. You don't know when you will die. You don't know when you will be reincarnated. All you have is now. You have right now, and you have this entire year that is open wide for you, whether you are watching this in 2026, 2027, 2028, or beyond. So you have this entire year in front of you. You have this time, and maybe you have today, maybe you have a month, maybe you have the next 100 years, but you never know. The deciding factor is, how am I going to live my life today? How am I going to live my life with purpose, with meaning, with mindfulness, and with intention? It's interesting because I posted my Michelle Fondin author vlog number 26 about the legacy you leave here in this lifetime. And if you haven't yet viewed it, I would highly encourage you to check that out, because I feel that that was a very powerful message, and I'll put the link right here. Now, I know sometimes we don't like to think about things like this. We don't like to talk about the end. We don't like to talk about, oh no, I'm only here for a limited amount of time. But really, all the great philosophers in centuries past spoke about death to be able to appreciate life in the moment. So the only thing that is precious about this life is that we know we have an expiration date. If we thought we lived in this lifetime forever, we wouldn't take it so seriously, right? But the fact that we know that our time is limited here on Earth right now, that makes it more precious. That makes it rare. That makes it like a beautiful gemstone. It makes it as precious as a diamond or an emerald or a ruby. And in fact, I bought these earrings in January of 2022, right after my father passed away. Because for me, a diamond represents something that is rare and unique and beautiful. And for me, it's an anchor that shows me that my life is precious, because nothing in this life can be taken for granted. And I really do feel that sometimes we get really complacent. And there are these reminders that come up in life that remind us to pay attention, be more mindful, live more purposefully. And I like these reminders. I really do. I enjoy these reminders because they remind me to stay present and centered in what I am doing right now. Am I present right now? Am I enjoying the moment? Am I living fully in this video that I'm recording? Or am I thinking about other things? Am I thinking about lunch, right? That's one thing, because my stomach is a little growly, but I'm trying to stay very centered with you here now. So these little reminders just remind us to live our life with purpose. But what if you were to go out on a limb and make a decision, because a decision is literally to cut something else off, right? It means to cut in Latin. And so when you cut something else off and you make that choice for your life to live it purposefully, you can elect to do that for every moment moving forward, to live with purpose. Oftentimes we think about the woulda, coulda, shoulda, or have tos, right? We think about the have tos. I have to do this. I have to do the dishes. I have to clean the house. I have to pick up the kids. I have to pick up their dry cleaning. I have to pay the bills. We think about all these have tos, and we wind up living our lives chasing the have tos, right? Or thinking about the have tos. So when we're with our children playing in the playground, we're thinking about doing the grocery shopping or what to make for dinner. When we're at work, we feel guilty about not being with the kids. When we're with our spouse of maybe 20 years, we think about, how can I get out of this marriage? Or why is my spouse so boring? Instead of enjoying the person in the moment. So it's human nature to constantly be projecting into the future or thinking about the past, but not really being rooted in the present moment and living a purposeful life. It's really, really interesting how life organizes these things for you, because I had been thinking about doing this video since I posted the last video on Monday of this week, if you are viewing this on January 2nd of 2026. So vlog number 26, I thought about this concept of living a purpose-driven life since then. Now today, as I was getting ready to record this video, I got a notice from my sister that my stepmom passed away. Now, she passed away the same weekend that the YouTuber that I speak about in my previous video passed away, just by one day, the difference of one day. The difference is I had a great relationship with my stepmom. Now, she was my stepmom from about age 5 to age 18. I lost contact with her in my 20s or early 30s because my dad had trouble staying with one person. And so I hadn't spoken to her in quite some time. But my sister sent me her legacy.com obituary, and it actually made me smile. It made me smile. I was really happy because she died at age 82. And in the obituary, it said she died peacefully among family. And it was endearing to read her obit because this is a woman who lived her life on purpose. Even when she was my stepmom, she was always pleasant and kind, a very simple woman. She was a school teacher for 30 years, and she was always the same, if you will, very predictable, very authentic, very much herself, and really living her life on purpose. In the obituary, they talk about how she really loved trivia, game shows, which she loved when I was a kid too. She really loved knitting and reading and going to the theater and going to England once a year. Now, all of these things she did as I was growing up. So it's not as if she felt guilty or felt like she needed to change who she was, change her interests. No, she actually stayed true to who she was throughout her life. Now, it may seem to you, or perhaps me, being very goal-oriented and career-oriented, that was a simple life, that was a life without a lot of ambition. But I don't think that really matters to live a purpose-driven life. A purpose-driven life is one in which you are present, true, and authentic to yourself in this moment, in whatever you are doing. It's a very Zen Buddhist way of living. So if you are doing the dishes, you are present in the moment doing the dishes. You are not thinking about the 1,000 other things you need to do, but you're just enjoying making the soap suds, putting a lot of soap on the sponge like I like to do, making the dishes, the pots and pans very clean, maybe wiping the sink, cleaning out the sink afterward, cleaning up the crumbs on the floor. But you're really hyper-focused on the activity at hand and in full enjoyment of that activity, even though it may seem like a chore. But you don't make it a chore when you're purposefully driven, right? And when you're purposefully driven, when you're at work, you are at work. You are enjoying the moment of being at work, even if it's a work that you don't necessarily appreciate in all moments. But you are in that purposeful driven moment of appreciating the job you have, the paycheck that comes in, maybe a smile from a colleague or a win in something that you do in your work. But you are totally focused. And in my previous example, I mentioned like some people are at work feeling guilty they're not at home with the kids. But you're not that when you are purposefully driven. And when you're with your kids, you are fully engaged with your kids and not thinking about the to-do lists, not thinking about the work that you left unfinished at work, or not thinking about your spouse who said that they might come home late, or not thinking about the neighbors and what they might be doing, or the competition between the kids and how many activities you've signed them up for. A purpose-driven life is not doing things if you don't feel like doing them. A purpose-driven life is not going according to what everyone else says just because they're saying so, but it's making the decisions for you with intention and purpose. Now, living with intention and purpose is truly infusing everything that you are into everything that you do. A Zen master would be proud, because that is what it truly is to live in present moment awareness, something I spoke about 2 vlogs ago, and I'll post that link right here. Because when you don't live a purpose-driven life, which a lot of people, if not most people, are not living purposefully driven, you have split energy. And when you have split energy, that is when you are not efficient in any of your actions, right? Go back to thinking about being at work, but feeling guilty that you're not with your kids, that is completely split energy. And so that is not purposeful in the moment in what you are doing. And then you might be wondering why you encounter so many problems at work. Well, that's because your energy has been split. And in the same way, when you're with your kids, but thinking about what you left unfinished at work, your kids sense your split energy and they might act out more than when you're with them and being fully present. Most people have split energy when they're on their phones instead of being fully engaged with the people that they're with, whether it be their friends, their lover, or their children. People mostly have split energy rather than living with purpose. And living with purpose, again, it doesn't matter how extraordinary your life is. It doesn't matter if you're jumping through hoops to be the top salesperson in your company, or being the best entrepreneur you could possibly be, or being the top musician or author that you could possibly be. But it does mean being fully awake and present and intentional in everything you do in each moment. The reason why, when I was reading the obituary for my stepmother, the reason why I think it made me smile was that it was beautiful. It is actually beautiful to see someone come full circle who has lived a full life with children and grandchildren. And I think she had one great grandchild. So living that full life in doing everything with intentional purpose. And that makes you smile at the end, right? It makes you smile. You're like, wow, someone who actually lived a really good life. And I think that's what we refer to when we say that someone lived a really good life, is that they were living with intention. They were living with purpose. And usually the tragedy is when someone does not live with intention and purpose, we get upset if they pass away, or we get upset if we see things not going their way, because we can understand that there was some split energy there, right? So let's focus on that this year. I feel like it'll be really good, especially if you've had a hard time with the self-love journey, if you've had a more difficult time with the spiritual awakening journey. And in fact, that is why we meditate, right? We meditate to reintegrate the split energy of not living with purpose and focus. Because if we were in every moment living with purpose and focus and true intention, and intention in this sense is something totally different than I'm setting my intentions to manifest my desires, which is true as well. But living with intention is, I intend to embrace this moment fully and do what I am doing in this moment. That is living with intention. It's planting the seeds really for maybe any future manifestations that you would want. But living with intention is the intent of being here now. Right? It's the intent of being here, being present right now in what I am about to do. And if we did this on a consistent basis all the time, there would actually be no need to meditate, because present moment awareness is a very meditative experience, because you are here in full. The whole gamut of who you are is here. But the reason we meditate is because we often split off our energy in many different directions. And the purpose of meditation is to help us reintegrate into ourselves. And so again, if you're interested in learning a mantra-based meditation technique, and it's really fun because my son, Matthew, has been here for 3 weeks, and I taught him how to meditate with his mantra when he was 17. And I didn't know if it stuck. He's going to be 28, and now he and I meditate together now that he's here for a few weeks. So it's been quite good. And I even asked him, how do you meditate? And he said, with the mantra you gave me. So it's been quite special. So if you're interested in learning how to meditate, you can take my Immersion into Meditation course. I'll have a promo code for you. Just go to that link and you can get some money off of the course. It's self-directed. you'll get your personal mantra with me. So here's to a great full year with intent and purpose. And I certainly hope it is a marvelous time for you in every moment, not just projecting out into the future, but right here and right now. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. Thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this with others who have a little bit of a difficult time staying rooted in the present moment or appreciating their life. Thank you so much for your support of my YouTube channel. You can purchase one or more of my 12 published books. You can visit my website with plenty of resources, and I will see you in the next video.